Welcome to episode 277 of In Touch with iOS, the show that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and related technologies. I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg, and my guest back in the show is Kelly Guimonr. How are you doing, Kelly?
Hi, dude. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing well. So glad you're here. I'm also glad that you're here too, is Ben Roethig. How you doing, Ben?
I'm doing great, Dave. I'm excited to talk about what we have to talk about today.
Oh my gosh, we have a lot to talk about. But last but certainly not least, Jeff Gamet is here. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing awesome. And what an awesome surprise to get to hang out with all three of you this evening. I love this.
Eight? So good.
It's going to be a fun show. It's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about this week. I just kept pasting into the show notes and I'm like, wow, this is just like insanity of all the stuff that's going on this week, including lots of upgrades and updates. I mean, I got a long list of that stuff, including
so many things.
They dropped 17.1 iOS, and then they also dropped the beta right the same day. So just about.
Well,
we'll talk about that. All kinds of news, maybe some price increases on some things, and I'm kind of excited. I went to the U2 concert at the Sphere in Las Vegas last week, and I'm going to talk about. I can't wait to talk about the amazing photos I was able to get out of my iPhone 15 Pro Max, because I was there, purely for the technology. You always
for
there
science,
for that, so.
Yeah,
business expense,
exactly. So let's go ahead and get started. Talk about the news here. One of the strangest things I've ever seen as far as an Apple announcements is Apple announced an October event for Macs. It's going to be called Scary Fast. Ooh. It's the day before Halloween, which is on Monday, October 30th at 5 p.m. Pacific time. The event will be about the Mac.
Like now.
And the company. Yeah, it's like next week. It'll be like a Monday.
This hour on Monday night. Yeah.
Around this time as we record this. It'll be the same time. So interesting to see how they did it. It's going to be purely a recorded event. I don't think there's going to be anybody on site at Apple Park or at Steve Jobs Theater. It's just a pre-recorded event, and it's definitely going to be interesting to see where things go. Again, it's all Macs, but that's okay. We could talk about Macs here. We do that too. But I think the biggest thing that's going to stand out, and everybody's been speculating, is the iMac. The iMac is way overdue for an upgrade, because I think 900 days is the last time that one came out. So the predictions. What do you guys? Kelly, what do you think's what we're gonna see in Macs?
In the actual announcement, I just figured because it was late on the 30th that we're gonna get Uncle Tim's gonna come out with like fake fangs, because I really want that. And then I can't figure out what Air Force One is gonna do.
Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Right. I just broke Kelly.
You did? Oh my God. I'm melting down.
See,
God.
You can totally visualize it, and the hair works with. Oh,
yes,
yeah.
With the. Oh my God,
Could happen.
All right. Well, I'll get out the dress I made of Amex card special for the occasion. That's a deep cut for people who know. And Jeff does. I knew you would. I'm hoping it's new iMacs. Because it's been so long. I would like to see. Maybe something with the studio, but if we're gonna go with Scary Fast, maybe it's the Mac Pro. Like, I feel like those are the two oldest things in the lineup are the iMac and the Mac Pro. So I feel like it's probably gonna be
Pro's relatively new, isn't it?
One of those.
Yeah, that just got updated.
Did we get?
The Apple Silicon one.
Yeah, Apple Silicon.
Yeah.
Mac Pro.
Okay. I couldn't. Okay.
See, this is the problem with all this technology.
My brain is melted down.
And once we went into lockdown for the pandemic, it broke time, and it's no longer linear. So Kelly is correct and wrong simultaneously about the time.
So I have presented Schrodinger's theory, is what you're telling me.
Yes.
Okay. So I do want it to be iMacs. because I'm curious where the iMac is going to go, because we haven't seen anything dramatically new and different in quite a while. So it's been kind of iterations on a theme. And so I really want to see the new iMac be something really, really cool. I wanted to have an M2 processor. I wanted to come in awesome colors that are actually the same colors as literally anything else Apple sells, which would be a mind blower in itself. I'd like to see something new and different, because that was always the thing that iMac did for so very long. The iMac was not an air quote computer. It was a lamp. It was a gumdrop. It was, all these other shapes and different things that still in their time were very respectably spec'd out. It had a reasonable amount of horsepower, a reasonable amount of storage, and you could really do a lot with one of those. And most people who, if you got an iMac as your primary computer, you could really do well with that. So I really want them to do something very cool with this and have it be super different and awesome, because even if it wasn't necessarily the most practical of computers, like the Sunflower iMac is a great design, a really well designed thing that worked really well and was awesome for that. And the iMac didn't look like anything else when the iMac dropped. Everything was beige, and here comes this giant blue monitor that doesn't even have a whole other computer attached to it. Like, it's all built into the back of the screen just magically. Like, it was so cool and it was so different. And I just want more of that from, what made Apple in the first place.
Yep. You guys, with Ben, what do you think? Do you think we're going to see maybe a Mac Mini?
That's actually a good question. We're almost to the point where we're past the M2 cycle. That I wonder if we're to the M3 cycle here, because
that's been the rumor.
It kind of seems to me that if they were going to release an M2 series iMac, they would have done it a while ago.
Yeah.
But
M2 isn't scary fast anymore. It's old news.
No, yeah, it's
I got an M1 Mac Mini. I'm happy with it. So
Pro just
I have an M2
crying, Kelly.
Yeah, my MacBook Air.
Hey, I'm sitting here off screen. I'm sitting here gently petting my M1, my OG 2020 M1 laptop. You're still pretty. I still love you. Good. I'm on Amazon right now trying to buy it.
I'm happy with it.
Yeah. There's absolutely nothing wrong with mine, but like, we've had M2 for a while, and Apple can now go at exactly the speed that Apple wants to go, because they're not beholden to anybody else for manufacturing or processor, jiggery pokery in order to make things faster. Like, they're not responsible to anybody else. It's 100% up to them. So if they get to do it and it's up to them, like, we could conceivably have an M3 at this point. That wouldn't surprise me at all. So I'm hoping, maybe it will be.
Yeah. Yep. And the rumor mill itself is kind of off the hook. We have everything from just an iMac to possible triple M3 drop with a new MacBook Pro.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. They could go through the whole slate of M3 Macs. I mean, it's very possible.
Well, if you're going to do it at the end of October, then you need to be gearing up for pre-orders, and it needs to be something for Christmas. It needs to be something that people will want for Christmas. So it's going to be the thing. That's why I think the iMac makes the most sense. Maybe we'll get new AirPods Maxes out of it at the same time, but we've gotten the MacBook Pros like later in the year like this. Like, I think I ordered mine in 2020, my M1, like right around my birthday in the middle of November. So I think friend of the show, Brittany, got hers right around her birthday in early December, I think. So it's right around, it's kind of right around that time. So it makes sense that maybe that would be, maybe there's a MacBook Pro to throw in there too.
Let's get Jeff in here. Jeff, what do you think is going to be announced?
Jeff's still back at Tim Cook, Queen of the Desert.
I am.
Yeah.
Okay. I think this is going to be very much a consumer focused announcement.
Mhm.
And so I'm going with the possibility of refresh for the iMac and the Mac Mini. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say it will not be an M3 processor. Although they could totally surprise me on that one. But they could do the higher end M2 series processors in the iMac and Mac Mini. And for those computers, that would suddenly be scary fast.
Yeah.
No new MacBook Pro, because that was refreshed in January. And I don't think they're going to refresh it now.
Would make sense.
And then there might be some other surprise that goes along with this. I was still fixated on Air Force One, Queen of the Desert, so I forgot who said headphones.
Me,
Kelly.
Okay,
yeah.
So we might get some sort of headphone refresh thing. AirPods Max. Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you go. That's my prediction. And I'm firmly in the no M3 camp for right now, which means that they will announce an M3 iMac just to spite me.
For sure.
Okay. It's totally plausible because Apple has done new processors first in the consumer focused models in the past. So this could be a time for it to happen.
We got minis first in a couple things, right? Like the Intel transition, the first was the mini.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
that's the one I've got, the 2020 M1 Mac Mini.
Oh no, when they went to Intel, it was too. Like when they went from PowerPC to Intel processors, I think the Mini was the first to get the new Intel processor, and then it was also the first to get the M series, I think.
Yeah, it got the M series first.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because the dev machines were basically just sort of spiffed up iPads. Like,
yeah.
Speaking of Priscilla, they were just iPads in Mac Mini drag. And that was what that was the first computer anybody could get their hands on that Apple built processors for. So that would track.
We've got some people in the chat at youtube.com/intouchwithios. Cletus is in the chat, and he's hoping there's a new iMac 20. How you do? Hi, Cletus. There's a new iMac 27-inch. I don't know. I think we're still got some time yet before that's going to happen. How would you guys think?
I don't know. I think I would like to see it be 27. Lots of people, people like big screens, like look at how the iPhone has continued to increase in acreage since it began. And, everybody went and bought a Plus when the Plus was the biggest one you could get your paws on. And then everybody, now that there's a Pro, everybody's buying Pro Max because it's the biggest one you can get your hands on. And I think it would make sense to have a nice big screen. Like that was one of the things I was sad about when we got new iMacs. I was super jazzed. They were colorful again and they looked fun and they're tiny. Like part of the reason I know a bunch of people who wanted a computer didn't buy an iMac was because it was too small.
Yeah, true. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. We'll definitely cover it next week after the event. It's Monday night, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Very unusual, to say the least. For all the years we've been covering Apple, I've never seen them do a late event like this.
I've never seen one after lunch. For the public, like the closest that ever comes is the Developer State of the Union on Monday afternoon. But otherwise, I've never seen anything after close of business, in my time zone anyway. Not a thing.
Yeah, the only way this time makes sense to me is if the person who scheduled it was either in Sydney or Auckland.
Yeah. A couple more stories I want to hit, but like I said, we got a ton of stuff to cover tonight. That we're going to curb a little bit of the news here, but Apple Pay Later, which was out in kind of a trial basis. I was able to get the account. I never used it, but I was able to get the account. Is now officially launched in the U.S. before that early access period. It appears that it actually officially launched into all qualifying U.S. residents this week. Now widely available in the Wallet app on the iPhone. The feature has been available, like I said, for invite-only early access since March of this year, 2023. So it's if anybody doesn't know what that is, it's the Apple Pay Later, which is a buy now, pay later feature where you can, if you're qualified, you can split a purchase of an Apple Pay into 4 equal payments over 6 weeks with no interest, no fees. This feature is available for eligible purchases between $75 and $1,000 made on an iPhone or an iPad on most websites and apps that accept Apple Pay. So the minimum purchase was $50 during the early access fee, but now it's $75. I don't know. You want to do pay later for a little minimal amount, but okay. But yeah, good to see that they've got this going too. With all the stuff we've talked about in the last couple of weeks over the Goldman Sachs Apple Card debacle, they got this too. And Jeff, what do you think?
Apple is very savvy at finding ways to make it easy for us to give them money. So there you go.
Yeah, no, that's.
I'll try it at some point.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt anything.
I do find it interesting where the cap is. So it's not like you can buy an iPhone Pro and pay it off over 6 weeks.
No. That'd be some pretty high payments there.
Yeah,
sure, but like if you're thinking, oh, I could do this right now, pay half of it off on this paycheck, and then half of it on the next paycheck, I could see where that would be a nice little incentive for people.
Oh yeah.
You guys have any other thoughts, Ben?
Yeah, this gets low to mid range purchases, but through the Apple Store instead of a mid range or something like PayPal paying for or equivalent thereof.
Okay. Any thoughts, Kelly?
I think it's going to be interesting. Part of why this headline caught my eye was mostly because it seems like another way that Apple is kind of expanding and extending their relationship with Goldman Sachs, which Goldman Sachs really doesn't want to even have anymore. And so to me, it was sort of entertaining in that way.
This isn't through Goldman Sachs.
Oh, no, it's not?
This is their own deal.
Okay. Well, it was Apple and it was through Wallet, so I figured it was something that
Apple
Goldman had to be involved in
for this,
like an LLC, right?
They set up their own little internal bank for this.
Sorry, I was talking over you, Kelly. Didn't mean to do that.
That's okay. That's what I get for not reading the story ahead of time, because I glanced through it and went, "Oh, that's fun." And then like here's another way that they're just sort of getting in deeper with Goldman Sachs, who doesn't want to be in with them at all. And yeah, shows what I know.
Yep.
I think it's interesting. It's like Jeff said, it's yet another way for people to give Apple money.
Great. Last story we want to cover this week is Apple stores are now beginning the same unit iPhone 15 repairs as parts are now available. For a brief period following the release of the new iPhone models, the Apple stores and Apple authorized service providers must replace the entire device if a customer requires a repair, as individual parts were not immediately available, which is not surprising. Starting this week as we record this, the parts are now available for all 4 of iPhone 15 models, allowing Apple stores and authorized service providers to complete same unit repairs for these devices. This was an internal memo that was found here, and this includes the back glass, the battery, the speakers, display, rear camera, and the mid frame. A whole unit replacement is still required for repairs involving the Taptic engine or the main microphone on the 15 Pro and the Pro Max, as these parts are still not available until a later time. But it's good to see that these repairs are going to get taken care of quickly, especially it's a new item like this. I tend to doubt Apple has a high percentage of of repairs on the iPhone that quickly. But guys, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, same here. I'm actually surprised they have this already.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Why?
All right.
Apple is controlling their own narrative, as always. So they're spinning something that they didn't want to do into a thing where they're the good guy. And my guess is that somewhere in a back room at Apple's headquarters, there's a hole in the wall where someone punched it because they're so pissed off at John Deere, because all of this
John Deere
is because of John Deere.
Yeah. Oh man, they won't let you repair anything. They have to do it, or else.
Yeah.
So good to see. It's good to see.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and move on to the topics this week. Lots and lots of updates this week. My gosh. First, I wanted to start off with the old devices. Apple's still updating the older versions of iOS, including iOS 16.7.2 and iOS 15.8. This gives you updates on some of the old hardware, and again, these are some pretty serious security flaws that Apple decided to have to do it. I got actually links in the show notes to the actual security content of what these updates are doing. On iOS 15.8, it was a kernel fix where the app may be able to execute arbitrary code with kernel privileges, and they were aware of this issue, so they took care of this and fixed that one. Then I think 16.7.2 was had some updates. Quite a long laundry list, actually. And I'm not going to go through them all, but
that's how you know it's a serious flaw. Is
right.
If it's something that was discovered that is also being fixed in the 1-back version of iOS. Right. Yep. And then when they fix it in 2-back, that means you need to drop everything and update no matter what you're doing.
Yeah. So you guys, if you're still running iOS 16.7.2, 16, definitely get this updated right away on the older devices, which is like the iPhone 7. Some folks are still running those old devices. That's perfectly fine. And that's what's great about Apple and being a good at providing updates for these devices as well. So good to see. iOS 17.1 was officially released today. We'll get to that in a minute, because as soon as that came out, iOS 17.2 beta 1 was released as we record this today. So definitely interesting to see what's going on with this. The registered developers have this version. The biggest thing is they did add the journal app, and I have not had any chance to look at it yet. I don't know if you have, Ben, but
very, very briefly.
Okay. So, because we won't be able to give you too much, I got links in the show notes for all the discussions here. It says it was in 17.2.
It's in iOS right now, right?
iOS, yes.
Yeah.
All right. I'm grabbing an iPad. I've been so busy.
It's not on the iPad.
No, I think it's just on iPhone.
Yeah. It has not launched yet on iPad and Mac.
Yeah. So
why freaking bother?
Yeah. So yeah, it just looks to see there's a lot of stuff that's happened here. I'll also talk about briefly a Watch OS 10.2. Not much to say when it comes to that. I've already seen advertising already, because 10.1 had the tap. I've already seen the ads. The Apple's going to be heavily advertising that. Oh yeah, I just was watching TV a little before the show here, and the tap touch and to get you to switch it, and it's the Apple Watch Series 9 is one that's it's supporting
the 9 and the Ultra 2, because
the Ultra 2, right?
Mr. Kelly sat down and sorted out how to get on the beta track so that he could get that as soon as possible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, I get it. Yeah.
As soon as he saw it, he went, okay, how come nothing happens when I do that with my watch? Because he got an Ultra 2 not that long ago. And was like, I want to do that. And I'm like, it's not out yet. And then I found where MKBHD said like they had to ship me a watch with a special build of the beta OS on it so I could try this out and show it to everybody. And here's how it works. And he was showing it off. And so Mr. Kelly said, okay, well, yeah. So how come it says I'm up to date? And I'm like, he said it was an early beta. It's probably not even a developer beta yet. He's like, oh, well, how do I get a developer beta? And I'm like, that's a long story. So
hold on, honey. Let me provision you.
Basically, yeah, like that's another podcast. So he ended up sitting down and going, okay, well, I'm on the public betas now so that I can get that as fast as I can. So then he had it as soon as he got it, he was very excited. So yeah.
tvOS
cool.
17.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little jealous.
tvOS 17.2 was out for the developers. That doesn't ever have anything too terribly exciting that's out for tvOS for now anyway. If you are in the beta world, go to take a look at it. And again, as I always say, don't put them on your production devices. You will regret it later. So
don't be me.
There be dragons.
Let Ben be your guinea pig, so he'll tell you how.
Yes.
So like I said, iOS 17.1 is out. So there's a whole range of features, including, I can't wait. Again, it just came out today as we record this, or just late yesterday. So I haven't had any time, as like you said, Ben, you haven't had much time either to really, well, you're right on beta to it, on the beta anyway, but, but we've been talking about it for the last number of weeks here, what the new things are going to be enabled, including the AirDrop over internet. That's going to be an interesting to see how that works. I really like to see how quick it really is. And then what that is allows you to be able to do AirDrop transfers. And normally you had to be right next to somebody and let it finish before you walked away. But now it's going to do it over the internet. So that's a kind of a pretty cool thing. Apple Music favorites is going to you're going to be able to do with the favorite songs, albums, and playlists in the music app. So you'll get some interesting things in there, including song suggestions and music playlists. Again, we talked about the double tap on the Apple Watch. You go into the Apple Watch app on the iPhone, and then goes there gives you the options to turn it on, as well as what you wanted to set it for as far as playback or smart stack on that. The standby display options now has a display section of the standby section of the settings app, which will have new customization options. So you'll be able to get in there. Display can be set to turn off automatically or after 20 seconds or never. So you can keep that going on there. There has been some updates on the action button for the iPhone 15 to preventing things like triggering things to go off when it's in your pocket or in your bag, including the flashlight, the camera, voice memo, all that stuff. Magnifier will not activate unless if it's tucked away. So they did a pretty good job on there. So they're doing some good things here. I'm pretty pleased. There's a lot more things. I'm not going to jump through every single one of these, but we'll talk about them as time progresses here. And I don't know if anything stands out for you so far. For you guys, if you've had anything that really stood out besides what we talked about here. Okay.
Nope.
Nothing here. Yeah.
Let me a couple other things I'll hit as well is the fact that there are some security fixes here too. So not only is it is a good improvement, you're going to also have a ton of security updates. So that's why we say 17.1 is a must install. I mean, there's just so many. I'm not going to go through all of them. I got, again, for some light reading, I've got links in the show notes here for the security updates. If you really want to know exactly.
It's not so light.
No, that's why I'm being sarcastic.
If you can't sleep.
Yeah. You really want to fall asleep, read through some of this, but
here you go.
Some good things that Apple took care of and fixed. Those are in there as well. So, other thing that they've added some enhancements here is, and Jeff might be happy with this, is that they did bring enhanced dialogue to the original HomePod and the HomePod Mini with this 17.1 update. Yay! Because I was
looking forward to trying that out.
Yeah, me too. So what that is enhanced dialogue is a feature that boosts the volume of spoken voices to make dialogue easier to hear over effects, action, and music in a movie or a TV show. The feature works with when a HomePod or HomePod Mini is paired with an Apple TV, which I do. So I have everything set up here beautifully. Where I got my two OG HomePods, and I can't wait to start trying it out and seeing how that works. So something good is an enhancement with the HomePod and showing some love with the original, the OG HomePod. And I'm pretty happy with that. iOS 17 tvOS 17.1 has come out. And again, we talked about the enhanced dialogue. There's also a new favoriting option in Music app for the Apple TV, along with some of the other music changes, minor in scale with the Apple TV, but I'm still seeing some exciting things ahead for the Apple TV. I always have been recommending it to anybody to have this as their ways of watching TV. That's what I do now. I'm using the Apple TV full time now because since I cut the cord and went to YouTube TV. So
yeah, that's how I've been for years now.
Yeah.
So a couple of things. Let's talk a little bit about. We just talked about the Watch OS as far as a couple of things that were added in 10.1. They did fix the weather complication bug, which was there was a bug where the weather complication was not loading properly on some of the Apple Watch faces. So
you have no weather.
Yeah, you have no weather at all. Yeah, exactly. So good thing they fixed that. And then again, everybody's going to start talking about the double tap gesture on the Apple Watch. And again, we just mentioned it. That the Series 9 and the Watch Ultra 2 devices will have that option. There's a long list of things I've done. I've been doing it. I like the Smart Stack because sometimes I can't get it to activate right away. But it's interesting. But answering phone call, FaceTime calls, hanging up on FaceTime calls. When you get an iMessage, you can double tap to view it. You can reply to a message by double tapping. The stopwatch and the timer, you can stop and start and resume. So it's going to be kind of fun and to see how that works with the gestures, as it being a built-in feature as opposed to a totally accessibility feature. So I don't know, any of you guys have the Series 9, so it's kind of not what you can expect. But
that's okay. You can gloat. It's fine.
Yeah,
I'm not gloating. Well, I went from the 7 to the 9, so I'm not complaining. So, anything else you guys, because that's set off for 17.1 that we didn't cover. I think we're good.
Yeah.
No. Big story.
Before we go, let me just point out really quickly. Now that nothing is at .0, this is usually when I start recommending to people that it's okay to pull the trigger if you don't have anything too weird going on, like on your production device. I always like to wait until it's not 14.0, it's 14.0.1 or 14.1.
Yes.
17, same way. Like I got a phone that came with it, so I kind of was on it whether I wanted to be or not. But now is the point when it's I would say, like professionally as an IT person, I always wait until there's been at least one revision because still some of those rough edges can bite you. So if there's nothing actively preventing you from upgrading, now might be a time to start looking into that. So yeah.
Yep. So in other words, Chuck, you can upgrade now.
Yeah.
Finally. Our long national nightmare has come to an end. Chuck can update now.
Chuck can now upgrade. So big story that was announced this week. Apple TV Plus Arcade and News Plus subscription prices are increasing from today. Apple announced that the pricing of the Apple TV Plus service is going to go up to $9.99 a month from $6.99 a month. Apple Arcade is going to go up from $4.99 to $6.99, and the News Plus monthly price is going up to $12.99. Now the bundle is also going to go up in price. So you got the individual bundle, which is now priced at $19.95. The One Family, which I have, I have the Premier. There's the One Family plan is $25.95, and then the Premier is $37.95 a month. So each one of these, are probably increased about $4 or $5 per this. Like we got in show notes what the actual grid there shows you here, what the pricing is going up. So you're looking at about a $4 or $5 difference in price that they're adding. It is what it is with the cost of that. But So really, again, I know, Kelly, we've always had we had a bit of a discussion about this before. You when we decided, is the bundle worth it for you, and is this going to kind of steer you away from it now even more now they've increased price?
Well, I mean, I kind of have to pull the trigger one way or another. Like, like if you're going to, you're going to, and whether or not it's more expensive, it's almost immaterial because the individual plans are also more expensive now. So, if you're paying for Apple Music, if you're paying for Apple TV, if you're paying for Fitness Plus, if you're paying for those things, individually for everything, then you don't, you still might save money by going to the bundle, even though the bundle is more than it was a minute ago. So, yeah, entirely possible.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I think that the pricing was bound to go up sooner or later. I mean, Apple has to start paying. It's costing them.
Didn't TV Plus go up just recently though? Anyway,
it went from $4.99 to $6.99. That was probably about a year ago, I think. But
okay. So not recently. I just remember that it had changed, and I knew it went up, and I couldn't remember when.
It's not going up as fast as like Disney and HBO.
But I always liked that it was a little cheaper. So and now it's not. So
So what do you think, Jeff? Are you in the Apple One bundle, or are you doing the individual services?
So I'm using the individual bundle. So my price goes up $3 a month. And when Apple launched Apple TV Plus at basically $5 a month, I knew that they were pricing it at a loss, but they needed to give people incentive to try it out and get hooked. And so bringing it up in line with the other services or their competitors, it was only a matter of time. So, and this, I kind of have a crackpot theory hypothesis. So, just for you, Kelly.
You know what they say: if you got a goofy ass theory, come sit by me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this one's knocking on your door right now.
It already exists in her house.
Yeah, it's there. It's waiting. All right. So the timing on all of these services increasing their rates right now seems suspiciously coincidental with the end of the writer's strike and the new pay rates. And so I'm wondering if the different studios and distributors on some level are using that as an opportunity to increase rates. And anyhow, just the bottom line is all these services, even from Apple, they're not really here to take care of the talent. They're here to make money and exploit the talent in any way they can.
Right. Well, I think I do that.
But I like the shows.
There's a lot of good shows. Apple did have a press statement, which you have a link in the article here on 9 to 5 Mac. Here is that they did say that all those that we mentioned were all going to go up beginning today as we record this. And you'll see those who are current subscribers will see it 30 days later. So we'll have another month of paying their rate we were paying already. So one of the things that isn't being affected is iCloud, Apple Music, or Fitness Plus. Those will all remain the same for now. So you might see that go up later. In fact, we already know that iCloud, they're now offering much larger plans that are really expensive, like the 6 and 12 terabyte
but
plans.
If you pay for iCloud storage, you get all the private relay and everything, as long as you're paying for even the tiny plan. You get those. I just like to remind people of that. And also, if you sit down and run the numbers and decide that going to the bundle is for you because you're paying for this and that and the other, and then this thing here and then something else, if you sit down to do that, the mechanics of that are, if you go pull the trigger, you get refunded the rest of the remainder that's left on any of those subscriptions when you go into the bundle. I just like to remind people of that too, because sometimes it's confusing.
Yeah.
So, and I just had that conversation with somebody like a week ago. So, and once again, in the I don't know what you don't know category. It's pretty easy to switch if you decide you just want one line item on your Visa a month instead of, a squillion of them. That's an easy way to do it. And if you do, then they just refund the difference, and then your subscription starts anew.
Yeah. And if you are upset about this, don't be. But there are going to be somebody out there probably listening. They're upset. There is a simple, easy way to cancel it. You just go into the settings app under your profile picture, tap subscriptions, and if you have an Apple One plan, just cancel all services. I'd shake if I wanted to do it because I want access to all this stuff, so I don't want to do that. But you could if you want. But it's not going to be any sweat off Apple's back. They're going to do perfectly fine either way. I think people are, as all of us being the Apple geeks we are, I don't think we're going to do anything at this point.
What we're going to do is continue paying.
Yeah.
Actually.
Oh, are you okay? Go ahead, Ben.
Since I get free, my family gets free Apple TV Plus from T-Mobile.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I might consider just going to the 2 terabyte iCloud plan plus the family iTunes, or not iTunes, but Apple Music.
Oh, yeah. Because you probably would come out ahead at that point, like if that's all you're paying for. So
yeah, because at this point it would be about $12 to $15 cheaper.
Yep.
I think, yeah.
And those are the two primary things
I look into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I could live without Arcade. I mean, News Plus is okay. I don't go in there as much as I really want to. But
fitness is not being used as much as I thought it would be.
Yeah. And you got all the other stuff that when you're doing your walks and stuff, you already got the health app and tracking all your steps and all that. So, so easy stuff. So, yep, it is what it is. But I think we all consensus we're not probably doing anything that we've already got set. Then we'll continue to pay Apple. We will. We love Apple. So let's talk about CarPlay a little bit here. This was an interesting article. The fact about CarPlay and people that are still just listening to AM/FM radio. And I know, Ben, you shared this earlier this week for Mac Voices, and we didn't talk about it. So awesome! Now we get to talk about it. And we've talked a lot about our CarPlay over the time here, and it's just, what do people do when they're often when they're in cars? They're listening to AM/FM radio, and I started thinking about this. Like, you know what? I do listen to AM radio all the time because I like listening to the news. I'm driving into work, and we have local stations here that I listen to, and I tend to not go to the other services on CarPlay. And it's got some interesting data in here from the research company here. People have neither one of them have CarPlay or Android Auto. There's 67% of the time spending listening to AM/FM radio, so it's still a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You got 9% of listening to your streaming services like Apple Music, and 12% is at Sirius XM. I'm a subscriber to that too. 4% podcasts, and 8% of doing something other. So numbers are interesting. And then you go with people who do have CarPlay. 46% of the people are doing AM/FM radio, or 18% of music, Apple Music, 19% Sirius XM, and all the other numbers here. So I find this interesting to see that, I've been a radio guy listening to radio for years, so most of us here have been. I mean, I go back to the old history I probably still have the old book of looking up all the radio stations and where they're located and all that stuff. And
nice.
I was kind of a geek. I probably still have that book behind me on that bookshelf here of listening to a list of all the stations around the country. And, radio has changed tremendously. And they know that because of all the streaming services that are available and being able to listen to other things to consume that. But Jeff, why don't you start with you? What are your thoughts on this? Do you think do you listen to radio when you're in your car much at all? Is it you fit in this category?
I do listen to radio in my car. I don't have CarPlay.
Right.
But I don't always listen to radio. When I do, it tends to be Colorado Public Radio, or like the the one of the CPR, Colorado Public Radio, independent stations that does like classical or jazz or something.
Sure.
But a lot of times I just don't listen to anything. I have another hypothesis.
Good.
I'm just full of them. I think a lot of people stick to just the radio because regardless of whether or not you have CarPlay, the in-car experience using your phone for music is garbage. So
and distracting.
I don't know anyone that when they get in their car and turn it on, the first thing they want is to have their smartphone just start streaming random music.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happens.
Right.
And my iPhone was paired with my car for just a few minutes right after I got the car, and I started the car, got it paired, and I'm like, okay, that's great. Turn the car off, get back in the car after going to the store or whatever, and it starts playing music. I'm like, what the hell? I don't want this. And it did it when I turned it on again. And before I pulled out of the parking space, I promptly unpaired my phone from my car, and they've never been paired since. And I have a feeling there's a lot of people that do that. But then also, because the pairing experience is kind of garbage, a lot of people never get around to actually, even with CarPlay, they're just not bothering to set this stuff up because the in-car experience is kind of crap.
And has been for a long time.
It has.
Yeah.
It has.
I drive a not new Subaru Outback. I live in Portland. It's the law. And every time I get a new phone, the Bluetooth in the car, because it's too old for CarPlay, the Bluetooth in the car hates my phone and therefore has acts out in a different way every time.
Yeah.
I have gone around with Subaru and asked them if there are software updates. They laugh at me. I literally
car, right?
got laughed at. No, like when it was new, I've had, it's like a 2-year-old automobile. And I'm like, is there a software update for this? Because what was happening was almost exactly the opposite of what was happening to Jeff, which is I would get in the car and start the car. And then my phone would connect to the Bluetooth and start playing. Even if it was on FM radio or the CD or any other mode. And
it would just take over.
And I listen to audiobooks on my phone. So I go out, run errands. I'm driving around. I come home and I want to listen to my audiobook after I've been out and about. And I'm 2 chapters ahead now. I have no idea what's happening. Apparently someone died while I was out driving around, and I have no idea because it was all playing, even though that wasn't the input that was selected. It decided to connect and just start playing no matter what. So the only way I solved that was like Jeff, I had to disconnect it. And then ever since then, there's been some new, different, weird thing, no matter what, with whatever my phone is. So I have to go sit down and try to pair it up and see if I can get it going in the car. And then figure out how is this all going to turn on me now that I have a new phone, and then figure out what my countermeasures are. And it's always a pain in the neck. So a lot of times I don't use it either. Now I know Mr. Kelly commutes to an office. So he drives to and from for about 20 minutes each way. And so for him, that's his sort of catch up on the news time. So he listens to OPB because we live in Oregon, not Colorado. And so he does Oregon Public Broadcasting, to the office and home in the evening. So that's, part of his sort of information intake is that, even though, and sometimes he will flip over, he has an Audi and the experience, it's also not CarPlay because it still didn't really come out on a lot of cars when we bought that, which is also not super duper new. But that one is actually a nice experience. If you want to connect it, you just go to the radio and you go Bluetooth, and it's okay, and then it's done and it's fine. So that one actually at least doesn't suck. And but generally it's really frustrating. And like every time any of my parents get a new automobile and I have to help them hook their phone up to it, it doesn't matter if it's an iPhone, it doesn't matter if it's Android, it doesn't matter if it's a foreign car, if it's an American car, it's always a pain in the neck. And because I spend so much time helping people with it, because I do battle with mine on the regular, especially when we had the story about how GM was going to get rid of the stuff that almost worked in favor of something that was probably broken and expensive because it was going to be an annual subscription. That's why I laughed at it, because like I'm almost impressed that you want to take a bad experience and actively take steps to make it worse.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, my car's been in the shop for a bit and I've been renting a car, and when I went to the car rental, then they would offer like a Honda Accord or something low end, and he's like, "Hey, I got this BMW over here." So, so it's a BMW X5, and
Ooh.
I've been driving it for the last couple weeks here, and I must say that the interface is pretty flawless. I mean, I was able to connect my. I mean, I see what you get what you pay for when it comes. I mean, I don't not in a million years would I be buying a BMW X5s. We know how much that is, but I've been pleasantly surprised on how well they've done with the interface of the CarPlay with your iPhone and integrating it nicely with their system, because in fact, they have their own BMW shortcut in CarPlay that brings you back to going to AM/FM and all the other, and it's got Sirius XM built in too, very easily. So they really did a great job of integrating it within CarPlay. Nice. So I'm going to be interesting to see where it goes with the new CarPlay. That's going to be the full immersed experience. Because my car, my car I own, it's a challenge. I got the third-party wireless, and for the most part, it works. But sometimes it doesn't want to connect, and that kind of stuff. But especially now with the iPhone 15 and the 15 Pro with USB-C now, and most cars are USB-A, and you got to have a converted cable and all that. But I'd have to tell you that my experience has been pretty flawless. I've been pretty impressed with that. But again, it's not a car that everybody here is going to be able to afford to or to own. So
yeah.
With me, I am basically only CarPlay at this point. For one very big reason. The interface in the Pioneer radio I have in my car is freaking terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to be listening to radio still, but it makes it very, very difficult to get to radio.
Yeah.
Also, since this is a 2011, the only way I am getting any kind of regular navigation is through CarPlay.
Yep.
So having, for me, navigation is kind of dependent on having my car be able to connect to my phone via CarPlay.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like I have an advantage in that the in-car entertainment system in the car is too dumb to be really awful, and it's just kind of bad. So like it's really a not great experience, but I've tried to go through
of entertainment systems.
Yes.
Yeah. I have like the OG sort of, it's a radio and that's it. Like a screen doesn't pop up out of anywhere. It doesn't have to initialize. None of that stuff is happening. So that's one of the things that I do appreciate about that one, is that it's not smart enough to be really actively bad. It's just sort of grumpy and dumb, but I can generally work around it.
Yeah. The other point I'd like to make, going on what Jeff said, Apple, fix your autoplay crap. Let me turn it off.
Great. Holy forking shirt balls.
Apple.com/feedback.
Yeah.
I have sent that in. Yeah. Because I know a whole bunch of people. I remember when you could first plug your iPods into your cars, where people started swapping around an MP3 file, and the artist name was like, I don't remember what character it is, but like it was whatever it was so that it forced it, no matter what you had in your library, in your iTunes library, right, this would be the top thing, so that you would at least get a few seconds of silence before so you had a chance to adjust the radio or whatever. It was like just a 30-second blank MP3 so that you could get it connected, get backed out of the driveway or whatever, and then go shuffle and put it on whatever you actually wanted to hear, because it was also messing with people's statistics. In a moment of weakness, somebody put ABBA in their iTunes, and now it shows up in Rewind every year because it's the most played, because I've heard the first 30 seconds of that Rack a Frackin' song because I plugged my iPod into the car every day.
And for everyone else, their most played song is 000 AAA.
Yes.
So good conversation here on CarPlay. I'm glad we were able to give you a little more insights on CarPlay and interesting statistics with the AM/FM radio, because there's still obviously a lot of people listening to it. So a couple more topics before we wrap up. One of them I think I'm going to have a little bit of fun with is the fact that I was able to go to Las Vegas a week ago, as I record this, to see U2 at the Sphere in Las Vegas. And first off, what a amazing venue, I have to say. I was staying at the Venetian, so it was a package deal. So I got to stay at the Venetian Hotel. Nice. And I'll share some photos in the show notes. I might even put together a public notebook, and the link will be in the show notes so everybody can see what I took with my iPhone 15 Pro Max. But it had a nice view of the Sphere from the hotel room in my room. So it's I took a picture in the daylight, and what just an amazing place. It is quite the jog to get from the hotel to the Sphere. I mean, it's going through the convention center, through the Venetian, and then some. So it's quite a journey to get there, but it was well worth the journey. So once you arrive in there, it's just mesmerizing, all the lights and the sounds and all that stuff. So now once you got into the Sphere, unfortunately our seats weren't as good. We were sitting with an overhang. We were sitting in the section that has the section overhang, so I could not go down closer to the floor to be able to look up and see the video that's surrounding you throughout the Sphere. But you know what? I got good enough shots that I was able to.
You got some amazing shots.
Yeah,
so cool.
Yes. So I mean, I wanted to. I was like, yes, I'm going to be able to finally get to really test out this iPhone 15 Pro Max. And the pre-show was amazing. There was a DJ that was there, and they had this little car that was being driven around. It was being pushed, I think, but he was spinning the tunes. It was really cool. It was like we were at a club or something, and they were really for a pre-show, instead of it being a opening act, that's what they did. So then of course U2 the band themselves was just amazing, but just the imagery and all the things that they showed on video was just absolutely amazing. I did some videos of it, and so let's get into the iPhone in itself here. So when I took a picture of it, I mean, I've got lifelike views of these backgrounds that the video screens were showing. You just zoom in on it, and you can zoom all the way down to it, and just be like, wow. And and one of the pictures I'll share, that I'm going to share in the show notes, this picture I have here, and everybody's here in the panel seeing right now, is it just looking at the crowd that's in front of me. It looked just amazing. It's just really hard to describe. So the videos themselves, I probably went down to about 15x zooming onto the band, and it was flawless video. I mean, it just blew my mind. Some of the videos that were on there, and
Hey,
I think go ahead.
If you zoom in on the crowd in the photo that you're sharing, you can pick out the details on everyone else's smartphones.
Yeah, exactly.
You can see what phone it is. Yeah, what they're shooting with.
Yeah, you can tell. Okay, that guy is iPhone. Lots of iPhones.
iPhone. Oh, that guy's got an Android phone over there.
Yeah. Shedding the green bubble.
And I'll answer Ben's question he put in our private chat. How much money did I put on the Bears? I was dumb and bet a parlay on the Raiders. So that was a big mistake. So I lost $20. So,
yeah. You must now apologize to Bajent.
Yeah, exactly.
If you walked away $20 poorer from Vegas, you still won.
Yeah, I didn't do a lot of gambling, so
that's winning.
This was the whole reason was to be there, is to see this show and being able to utilize our technology and it just proved to me that I got a DSLR sitting in my closet. Do I really even need to keep that thing anymore? I might as well sell it. Because
I just had this. I don't have the Max. I have a 15 Pro,
which is still good.
I went to a show 2 weeks ago now. And I'll share some pictures with you guys. And I was right up at the front against the barricade for the show, and it was right here. Mm-hmm. And I have some really great pictures. And Mr. Kelly has a 14 Pro Max, and he took some video and stuff while we were there. And he got some little stuff from right in the front, and it looks amazing. Like, I took some of mine. I made sure I was on high quality, and airplayed them to the TV. We have a 4K television, and it looks spectacular. Like, I really don't feel like I should. I feel like I'm getting away with something that I have that much camera in my pocket. Mm-hmm. Yep. Like, I really do. And I had the same, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm never taking that Canon out of the closet again. Like, the next time I take it out, we'll be like, you have served me well, and you are going to a good home. Like, that's Nikon, the next time I lay hands on it, that's probably going to be why.
Yeah. I got Nikon all my lenses.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, unless you are doing some very long distance nature photography.
Right.
Yeah, this is going to do with better quality what handhelds were doing just a couple of years ago. It's yeah, I mean, especially now with the USB-C logging and all that good stuff. This can be your primary camera. This app also happens to be your primary computer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm convinced.
With USB-C, it's the personal communicator now. Like,
yeah,
I know that was the pitch. It's been 96 years since the first iPhone now, I think. Time is weird.
We're at like 38 BBY.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just for you, Kelly.
Yeah. And I can tell you, there's plenty of people on YouTube has posted. I mean, there was somebody I just found the other day that posted the entire U2's concert with filming it on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. And in fact, I downloaded a copy of it because I wanted to have a QuickTime copy of it. And same thing. I mean, even when it was uploaded to YouTube, it lost little or very little video. I mean, he spent 2 hours recording. I just wanted to do, but I don't want people to lose attention. I just did some short ones, of course, the popular songs, and and just getting some of the. I mean, there was one I forgot. It's Atomic City, the new U2 song. They played it, and they had just this lifelike background of the entire strip in
it
Vegas.
Looks amazing.
It's amazing. And then what they do is they've got a time lapse where it's going from present day down to when the Vegas was non-existent in the 40s and 50s as a desert, and you just start seeing all these buildings starting to go down, and then it's all gone. So they did some great things.
David, I don't know if you've seen it yet. I went poking around in Apple Music for something else and found where Zane Lowe interviewed them in the Sphere with there's like half an hour of video of it's like 4 or 5 segments of and there's very little actual show footage in it, but you get a good look at like what it looks like with nobody in it and all that kind of stuff. Right. And it's in Apple Music, which is the thing. At some point we should discuss further how there's some of those really awesome bonus things if you just go to the search screen and start tapping on stuff instead of searching for something. There's all kinds of
that was a great interview. They U2 really, even Bono and the Edge were both like just, they're blown away about that event. I'm just going to be interested to see once they finish their residency there, what's next for that place.
Yeah. Well, and to see somebody like Zane Lowe, whose whole job is to is to skip around the world and go watch amazing shows. And like his whole job is covering, interviewing and playing music from all these amazing acts, and has been doing it for so long. And for him to stand there and be like, whoa, like this is a person who, has seen it all, and you would think would not be easily impressed, and looks deeply impressed.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'll try to put together a little mini album for everybody to see. I'll put it in a link in the show notes, make it as a public view, and you can see for yourself what I experienced by taking the pictures. And I can't wait to get out to do more shots, just out doing them and using this camera even more. So, Kelly had a interesting pick, and I decided, you know what, we don't do picks very often. I probably should do more here and probably change the format a little bit. We should be doing picks every week, right? But I don't want to copy other shows that I'm doing here. So, but I think this is something that was really something that you should tell everybody about, and we do have, of course, definitely have a link in the show notes to purchase this item. So, what is it all about?
So, as we've discussed here, I got a new phone, and the new phones are USB-C. And so I was looking for some ways that I could optimize, primarily that I could optimize my travel kit, because I don't want to have to carry around I want to carry around exactly the right amount of stuff. And so I don't want to carry and absolutely no more, like if I can. So I was looking for ways to make sure that I had a watch charger and a phone charger and an AirPods charger, because I do take my AirPods Pro with me when I'm traveling. It's like one of the first things that goes in my bag. And now that less things need lightning cables, is there something better I could be doing for being able to charge? So I found this little device. It's a little bit smaller than the palm of my hand. It's almost as wide as my iPhone 15 Pro, and then square. And it's this little device. If you're not watching the video, first of all, you should be, because we do this live and you can heckle us while we're recording. But after the fact, it's just this little square. It comes in black plastic or white plastic, and there's a little USB-C input on the side, so it charges with a USB-C cable. So you have to supply the cable and the wall charger, and you can plug it into whatever you want. I've plugged it into a few different ones that I have, and it has performed like a champ. But the thing that's cool about it is it's got this little almost sort of kickstand out the back that you can use that makes it stand up as a stand. You can, push it out like a kickstand. And then additionally, you can also lay it on. It is it's magnetic charging. I don't think it's mag safe. It does say it's fast charge. I've plugged it in and had it be very quick about charging things on the completely wireless side. It will also charge my AirPods there. And then the kickstand part that sort of pops out on the back is a watch charger. So it's got the disc for the watch, and it will lay completely flat. So you can lay it on the table, like on your nightstand or whatever. You can charge your phone and your watch at the same time. You can tip it up and have it be a stand and have the wireless charging at an angle. You can lay it on the wireless charging side and have your watch be sort of more vertically oriented. So if you have, the sport strap or something like mine where it's not two pieces, you can loop it around and have it sit there and hold it up. I've had it charge both my iPhone 11 and my 15 Pro. My 11 is my work phone. I've had it charge each of those individually, along with my watch. It charges both of them at the same time. I have a Series 7, and it handles that without a hitch. And the beauty of this thing is that it is right now on Amazon, it's $10.
It's crazy.
And it's
75% off.
Yeah. And the disc for charging the watch also will rotate. So if you want to put the watch on, the other side of the stand, it's weird if you're listening, and I'm sorry that you're not able to see the video of it. But go to the show notes and look at the picture, and it shows you all the different things that you could do. And it shows you a bunch of different ways that you can get creative with how this works. And as long as you're plugging it into something that is that has a reasonable amount of power coming out of it, this is going to make my going places life dramatically easier, because I have an easy way to charge my watch. I can charge both my phones with it. It's this one little thing. And like, if I absolutely have to, I can use my laptop charger to make sure that everything gets the power that it needs. And it's $10.
$10. I mean, you can't beat it.
Yeah.
Jeff, Jeff almost, I think you wanted to do an unboxing if you're watching.
We'll do an unboxing.
I texted Jeff about it and said, Jeff, I got this and it's amazing. And then about 10 minutes later, I got a reply that said, mine will be here on Thursday.
And here it is.
And now it's here.
Yeah.
What's the line? It's real and it's spectacular.
Yes, it's real and it's spectacular.
All right.
So Jeff's taking his out of the box right now.
First time. There's something in the bottom. Oh, it's an instruction sheet.
If I had $1.
Okay, so that's nice. You don't get the charger with it, which Kelly already established, but it comes with a USB-C to USB-C and a USB-C to USB-A cable.
See, they're getting cables. Can't beat that.
Yeah, comes with a cable, but not the part for the
okay. How long is the cable?
Not very long. It isn't. I don't know what happened to mine.
We're about to find out. This cable is the USB-C to USB-C cable.
So it's a good 4
It's a meter.
Okay.
3 4
It's like
3-footer.
Yeah.
All right.
That's pretty good. Pretty good length.
Yeah. Not too shabby.
And let's see, how does this feel? Okay, so it's plastic, so it feels plastic, but it doesn't feel cheap.
Yeah.
The device?
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like plastic, but it feels solid. Like it doesn't feel flimsy. Yeah. I feel like I can throw it in my bag and it will come out intact on the other end of my trip.
Yeah. Okay. I like that the charger port is on the side.
Right.
So if you're going to set it up like this and have your phone in nightstand mode and the watch on the back, it's not the way. Oh, let's check out the let's see if it's MagSafe. Why, yes, it is.
It's magnetic, but I didn't get the green ring when I hooked it on earlier. So I don't know. But yeah, and it's really
staying pretty good.
It really
you're not getting you're not getting the ring. Yeah, it's not MagSafe.
Yeah. I flung it and I shook it harder and it never came off.
I just shook it pretty hard right in front of 2 keyboards, my expensive display, camera, and microphone, and it didn't come off. Nothing is broken. And there we go.
Yeah, Jeff does not have a $4,000 repair bill.
I do not have a $4,000 repair bill for my $10 charger.
So check it out. We got a link in the show notes, and the name of the device, and we highly recommend it. So it's something you should go grab for sure. So
I will point out I gave the nickel tour before we started. Jeff hadn't shown up with his yet, and David immediately went and bought some.
I bought 4 of them.
Yeah,
just because for family. So all right,
it's so good, and it's so flexible, and and I'm really excited, but it sounds really boring, but it just works. Like I put I put my watch on it, my watch charges. I put my phone on it, my phone charges. I put my headphones on it, my headphones charge. That's all I ever wanted to do, and it does it reasonably quickly, and and so far it's been super reliable. So
excellent.
So I'm looking at this because in the chat, Cletus is saying what brand. Ben, I'm glad you put the brand in there because it's actually not on the package.
Yeah,
it's not on the box. I noticed that when I got it, I was like, I thought this had a name.
I'll put the link in the chat here for you, Cletus.
Yes. Enjoy, Cletus.
Yep.
Because it is pretty neat. Like as I kept scrolling down the page when I stumbled across it, it just kept getting, oh, that looks useful. Oh, I would totally do that. Oh, I could totally use it for that. Oh, that would be great.
Then it's $10.
And then it's $10.
The brand. Yeah, brand is Mercia, but the way you read it in your head, you hear Murica.
Yep. I absolutely did.
And I checked that link works in the chat.
I had to look twice. It's and it is fast. Like my 15 Pro charges reasonably quickly on it. I mean, I have to have it plugged into something, that's got throughput. But yeah, it is speedy to charge. I've had other ones that I mean, even with my 12 Pro and earlier phones, like if I didn't have it plugged into something, sometimes it would be a little pokey. And this one's been really good so far. So
I just realized something.
Mm-hmm.
This cable I pulled out that I thought was USB-C to USB-C. It's USB-C to USB-A.
Oh, it's the A cable? Yeah.
But
here's
it does
come with two.
Which is USB-C to USB-A.
So there's two of the same.
Mine has two USB-C to USB-A cables.
Oh, well. All right.
Well, mine came with C to C and C to A.
No, mine did not.
You got chipped.
Well.
Quality control.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you get. I mean, America.
Now, to be fair, you did get two cables.
I did get two cables. Yeah.
Yeah.
You did.
But like when you look at all the, it shows you all the different configurations and stuff for it. And it's pretty great, Yep. Yeah, it looks super flexible and it's not super heavy. And it's gonna make going places a lot easier, I think.
Much easier. Okay, thank you, Kelly, so much. I think everybody's going to love that, and but they'll probably sell out because if everybody listening, they're going to go order one here. So, but let's. This is Greta. What a great show. Let's go ahead and wrap up for this week. So, that is a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, which is feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Mastodon at intouchwithios at techhangout.social. Support the show by buying me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We would really appreciate it. You can become a Patreon of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers available to support the show. We would really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you're notified when we are live streaming, which is Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/intouchwithios. Thank you, Cletus, for being in the chat, and everybody else that was in the chat tonight. You can also watch the previous live stream and watch us live, of course, and all the audio of the past shows. Visit In Touch with iOS magazine on Flipboard, where many of the topics we discussed are flipped into the magazine. The link is in our show notes. You can subscribe to our show in your favorite podcatcher, including Pocket Casts, Overcast, and Apple Podcasts, and many others. But better yet, go to our website at intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are there. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on Mastodon at DaveG65 at mastodon.cloud. And Kelly Guimonr, thanks for being here. Where can people find you?
Thanks so much for having me. Depending when you hear this, I will be doing another live show on Friday morning on October 27th. Jump Cloud, which is an enterprise software platform for IT folks. They do something every Friday called the IT Hour, and I am joining them tomorrow to talk about scary IT stories. So you can see me over there tomorrow morning, and sometimes you can find me here with David on In Touch with iOS. Sometimes you can find me doing my best to keep Chuck Joyner off topic on Tuesdays on Mac Voices Live. The rest of the time, you can find me on various podcasts over at the Incomparable Network. If you are a member of the Incomparable Network, you already know about this. If you are not a member of the Incomparable Network, you should be, because you can get member-only exclusive podcasts, like a bunch of people at the Incomparable all sat down and watched Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan together and gave you a commentary track.
Wow.
Nice.
So,
nice.
One of those people may or may not have been yours truly. I cannot confirm or deny this information. You'll have to go become a member and find out for yourself. And I also have a show over there called I Want My MCU TV. And as soon as we can get our act together, we will have Loki episodes out for you soon.
Good deal.
Come on,
Roethig.
Kelly. It must have glorious purpose.
I mean, I do have glorious purpose. It just is not editing podcasts, and that's kind of why we're behind schedule a little bit.
That goes.
So,
Ben Roethig, thank you so much for being here. Where can people find you?
Well, Dave, you can find me on social media at Ben Roethig, on the web at roethig.tech. I just wrote a brand new article on my thoughts of the upcoming Scary Fast event. On Tuesdays, you can find me on Mac Voices with Mr. Chuck Joyner. On Thursday mornings, you can find me on the Big Show on the Big Ten Network. That'd be way
yeah, nice.
That'd be
That's a new one. Way to bury the lead there, hon.
On the Big Show on the British Tech Network, and Fridays we will be You can find me competing with Kelly's IT thing on the Mac Show on the British Tech Network.
Well, I'm only on it one time. Like, this is not something I regularly do. They're having me on as a special guest tomorrow.
Oh, so you're competing with us one time.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pat. Appreciate it. And last but certainly not least, Jeff Gamet, thank you for doing your unboxing. And
sure.
Appreciate you being here. Where can people find you?
Okay, so when I'm not unboxing or convincing people to spend money based on Kelly's recommendations, social media. Jay Gamet on basically everything. I'm active right now on Mastodon and Instagram. Then for shows, Chuck Joyner keeps letting me on Mac Voices Live on Tuesdays. And then sorry, I just got distracted because I was like, what's burning? Apparently I have a neighbor that is a bad cook. Because it sure smells like... Anyhow. Okay, so then Thursdays. Dave, you keep letting me hear on In Touch with iOS. Then on the British Tech Network, on Thursdays, The Big Show. Fridays, The Mac Show. And then Brian Chaffin and I record The Contact Machine. So I guess I get around.
You do. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. Thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. We had an absolute blast doing this show this week and every week. And we hope you come back again. And until next time, we'll talk again soon.